God didn't take it because he hates you. He took it because he loves you. What you lost wasn't random. It wasn't punishment. It was rescue. God removes what you love, when what you love is destroying who you are. And most men only realize that years later. And God loves you too much to let that continue. So he removed it, not because he's cruel, because he's merciful, not to punish you, to protect you, not to destroy your life, to save it. Let me show you why God removes what you love to save who you are. Because once you understand this, you'll stop resenting what he took and start trusting why he took it. First, God removes what you love when it becomes what you worship. You weren't supposed to worship it. You were supposed to enjoy it, appreciate it, be grateful for it. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being a blessing and became your God. It stopped being something you had and became something you couldn't live without. And when anything other than God becomes something you can't live without, it's an idol. When anything other than God defines your worth, it's an idol. When anything other than God determines your peace, it's an idol. And God will not share his throne with idols. Exodus 20 verse 3 is clear. You shall have no other God before me. No other gods. Not your career. Not your relationship. Not your success. Not your comfort. Not your reputation. Not your dreams. Nothing. And when something becomes a God in your life, when it takes the place that belongs only to God, he removes it. Not because he's jealous in a petty way, because he knows that worshiping anything other than him will destroy you. That job you loved, it became your identity. That relationship you cherished, it became your source of worth. That dream you pursued, it became your reason for living. And God had to remove it because it was taking his place. And anything that takes God's place will eventually take your life. Second, God removes what you love when it's changing who you are. You're not the same person you were before you had it, and not in a good way. It's making you someone you weren't meant to be, developing character flaws instead of character strength, creating vices instead of virtues, producing pride instead of humility, selfishness instead of generosity, arrogance instead of dependence on God. Whatever you love is shaping you, forming you, molding you. And if what you love is corrupting your character, distorting your values, or destroying your integrity, God will remove it because he cares more about who you're becoming than about what you're enjoying. Romans 8 verse 29 reveals God's priority. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son. Conformed to the image of his Son. That's God's goal for you. Not your comfort, not your happiness. Your transformation into Christ's likeness. And anything that's preventing that transformation, anything that's distorting that image, anything that's making you less like Christ, God will remove. That relationship was making you compromise your values. That success was making you proud. That pleasure was making you selfish. That comfort was making you weak. And God loved you too much to let you keep becoming someone you weren't meant to be. Third, God removes what you love when it's limiting your purpose. You were created for something, a specific calling, a divine assignment, a kingdom purpose. But what you love is keeping you from it, distracting you from it, replacing it, consuming the time, energy, and resources that should be going toward your purpose. And as long as you have what you love, you'll never pursue what you're called to. You'll be too comfortable, too satisfied, too content with what you have to hunger for what you're meant to do. So God removes it, creates a void, a hunger, a desperation that drives you toward your purpose. Matthew 6 verse 33 give the priority. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Seek first the kingdom. But you weren't seeking first. You were seeking what you loved, prioritizing what you wanted, pursuing what made you happy. And your purpose was being neglected. Your calling was being ignored. Your assignment was being delayed. God removed what you loved to redirect you toward what you're called to. That job was too comfortable to leave for your calling. That relationship was too consuming to make room for your purpose. That success was too satisfying a hunger for God's plan. So he removed it to save your purpose from being permanently abandoned. Fourth, God removes what you love when it's creating dependency on anything but him. You are depending on it. for security, for identity, for worth, for peace, for happiness, for fulfillment. It became your source, your foundation, your stability. And that's dangerous, because anything you depend on other than God can be taken from you. And when it is, you'll crumble. God is teaching you that He alone is your source. He alone is your foundation. He alone is your stability. And the only way to learn that is to have everything else removed, to lose what you were depending on, to see it taken away, and discover that God is still there, still sufficient, still enough. Psalm 62 verses 5 to 6 declares, "For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from Him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be shaken." God alone, He only, not God plus your job, not God plus your relationship, not God plus your success, just God alone. And you'll never learn that as long as you have other things to depend on, that person you love became your emotional support instead of God, that career became your security instead of God, that success became your identity instead of God, and God had to remove them so you discover He's enough, that His grace is sufficient, that He alone can be your foundation. Fifth, God removes what you love when it's preventing your growth. Growth requires challenge, difficulty, discomfort, struggle. But what you love is making life easy, comfortable, predictable, safe. And in that comfort, you're not growing. You're stagnating, plateauing, staying exactly where you are. And God has more for you, wants more from you, is calling you to more. But you can't get there from here. Can't become who you need to be while staying who you are. Can't develop what you need while keeping what you have. So He removes it, creates the struggle that forces growth, the difficulty that demands development, the discomfort that produces transformation. James 1 verses 2 to 4 explains, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Trials produce steadfastness. Testing develops completeness. But you weren't being tested while you had what you loved. You were comfortable, content, unchallenged. So God removed it, created the trial, introduced the test, to produce the steadfastness, to develop the completeness, to make you perfect and lacking in nothing. That comfortable life was preventing your spiritual growth. That easy relationship was keeping you immature. That predictable success was stopping your development. So God removed it, not to hurt you, to grow you. 6, God removes what you love when it's becoming your everything. It consumed your thoughts, dominated your time, controlled your emotions, determined your decisions, defined your life. It wasn't just something you had. It was everything you were. And when something becomes your everything, you become nothing without it. God is teaching you that He is your everything, that your life is found in Him, not in what you have, that your identity is rooted in Him, not in what you possess, that your worth comes from Him, not from what you achieve. Colossians 3 verses 3 to 4 says, "For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with Him in glory." Christ is your life, not your career, not your relationship, not your success, not your dream. Christ. And anything that tries to become your life instead of Him must be removed. That person became your everything. That achievement became your whole identity. That dream became your entire reason for existence. And God had to remove it because when Christ is not your everything, you have nothing that lasts. 7th, God removes what you love when it's blinding you to what you need. You were so focused on what you wanted that you couldn't see what you needed. So consumed with what you loved that you missed what was essential. So satisfied with the temporary that you ignored the eternal. And God, in His mercy, removes what you want so you can see what you need. Takes away what you love so you can recognize what's essential. Strips away the temporary so you pursue the eternal. Matthew 16 verse 26 asks, "For what will it profit a man if he gains a whole world and forfeits his soul?" You were gaining what you wanted, but forfeiting what you needed, pursuing what you loved, but losing what was essential, building what made you happy, but neglecting what would save you. So God removed it, disrupted your pursuit, interrupted your focus, so you'd see what you were missing. You needed God, but you were satisfied with blessings. You needed transformation, but you were content with comfort. You needed purpose, but you were distracted by pleasure. So God removed the blessing, the comfort, the pleasure, to reveal what you actually needed. 8. God removes what you love when it's preparing you for something greater. What you had was good, but what's coming is better. What you loved was satisfying, but what God has planned is surpassing. What you lost was valuable, but what you're gaining is invaluable. But you couldn't receive what's coming while holding on to what you had. Couldn't embrace what's next while clinging to what was. Couldn't step into the new while remaining in the old. So God removed it, created space, opened your hands, prepared you for what's coming. Isaiah 43 verses 18 to 19 promises, "Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I am doing a new thing." But you were clinging to the old thing, mourning the former thing, trying to resurrect the past thing. And God had to pry your fingers off it so you could receive the new thing, the better thing, the thing He's been preparing. That relationship had to end because the right one is coming. That job had to be lost because the calling is coming. That dream had to die because the purpose is coming. God removed what you love to make room for what He's planned. 9th, God removes what you love when it's teaching you that He's better. You thought what you had was the best thing, the ultimate thing, the thing that would satisfy you completely. But it didn't. It couldn't, because nothing created can satisfy like the Creator. Nothing temporal can fulfill like the eternal. Nothing finite can complete like the infinite. And God is teaching you that He's better than anything He gives you, that knowing Him surpasses having anything from Him, that His presence is greater than His presence, that relationship with Him is more valuable than blessings from Him. Psalm 73 verses 25 to 26 declares, "Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Nothing on earth that I desire besides you." That's the lesson. That's the transformation. That's the point. And you'll never learn it while you have everything you desire on earth. You'll learn it when earth's desires are removed and you discover God is still enough, still satisfying, still better. What you loved was good, but God is better. What you had was satisfying, but God is more satisfying. What you lost was valuable, but God is more valuable. And He removed what you loved, so you discover that truth. 10th, God removes what you love when it's ultimately saving your life. What you loved was killing you, maybe not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, eternally. It was leading you away from God, away from truth, away from life, down a path that felt good but ended in destruction. And God, in His infinite mercy and perfect love, removed it, interrupted the path, stopped the progression, saved you from yourself, from your choices, from the destruction you were heading toward while thinking you were heading toward happiness. Proverbs 14 verse 12 warns, "There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death." It seemed right, felt good, looked perfect, but it was leading to death. And God loved you too much to let you continue. So He removed it, saved you from the end it was leading to, protected you from the destruction it was creating. That relationship felt right, but was leading you away from God. That success seemed good, but was destroying your character. That dream looked perfect, but was replacing your purpose. And God removed it to save your life, your soul, your eternity. So if God just removed something you loved, something you're grieving, something you're confused about, understand this. He didn't do it to hurt you. He did it to save you, to save who you are, who you're becoming, who you're meant to be. He removed it because it was becoming your God, changing your character, limiting your purpose, creating false dependency, preventing your growth, becoming your everything, blinding you to what you need, preparing you for something greater. teaching you he's better, ultimately saving your life. Trust the removal. Trust the process. Trust the one who loves you enough to take away what's harming you even when you can't see the harm, even when you think it's the best thing, even when losing it feels like dying. God removes what you love to save who you are, and one day you'll look back with gratitude, not for what you lost, but for who you became because you lost it, not for what he took, but for what he gave you in its place, not for the removal, but for the salvation that came through it. Trust him, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because he's not taking from you, he's saving you.